Salve Sam, Hodie Dias, Lunai, it's Monday. Welcome to a new week of online learning and more Latin fun. Our quote of the day today is, in loco parentis, in the place of a parent. This is on our WAP, so you can just look at it there, but just to explain it, it's a legal term. This refers to someone who is taking the place of your parent. So when you were younger, this might have been your babysitter, or maybe if you were spending the night at your grandparents' or your aunts and uncles' house. When you're at school, it's your teachers, your school administration. And yeah, if you're a minor and need parental guidance, that would be someone who is in loco parentis. I don't know if you've ever read the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket or seen the Netflix TV series. But if you have, they have a whole episode about that legality and the bad guy. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, darn. Anyways, he's trying to claim in loco parentis for the Baudelaire children who have been abandoned, or, well, not abandoned, but their parents were horribly murdered. So it's a fun book series if you've ever gotten the chance to read it. All right, back to Latin class. So today I'm showing you our WAP for the week and getting you into our next story. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so I am officially sharing. So if you take a look at our WAP, we see here the column for today's recorded lesson, the column for the group sesh, and the column for the checking your classwork. So remember, it's all working at your own pace. So you can do this at whatever pacing you want. You can do a lot of it in one day. You can do, only one thing a day. It's up to you. I will say that this plan might change based on the pacing of the class, how far along we're getting. If I find that when we're going over this stuff, when we're going through our group sessions, that we might need to spend some extra time on something or take something out. So check back here daily. It'll also be reflected on the Google Classroom, but also here in this video. So here we see our quote of the day for today in loco parentis. Today you're going to watch the Stage 18 introduction video, which is on Cambridge Elevate, and then we are going to read and translate Taberna. This translation will be done using Google Docs, so you'll just simply type it out on a Google Doc and submit it to me. And then I'll check your work and I'll leave comments as it goes. During the group session today, we can discuss your translation. If you finish it before the group session, then we can go line by line and read it together and check all of your work. Or if you have any specific questions. Yeah, and so then throughout the week, I'm going to give you GF here. That stands for Google Forms. We're going to be learning a little bit about nouns this week. Culture reading, you will have to do two declensions on Magis Trula, the second and third, and you'll do them twice. So that's basically what we will be doing. Like I said, you can do it all at whatever pace you like. Let's go ahead and get started by looking at Cambridge Elevate, Stage 18. This is what it should look like on your view. We see our webbook here, so you can access the story that way. And here is our intro page. We see tons of glass fat fragments, and in fact, let me pull out my thing. These, the chapter that we're learning, this is about glass making in the city of Alexandria. So these are fragments of shattered glass, and they really do symbolize the violence that happens in Alexandria, and that's going to happen in this coming chapter. There are several different glass-making techniques that are here, and tomorrow, let me just double check. Yes, tomorrow you are going to be reading in your book and taking notes about glass-making techniques. So we have this larger piece. This is a wheel-cut glass fragment, and this technique is using cut crystal, which was highly skilled. Artisans would use this and make this, and it was really expensive too. And we see a huntsman spear at the ready on this glass, and he's wearing a cloak that's waving in the wind. So this is made out of hard-cut glass crystal, so it takes a lot of skill to put these details in. And this is in the Murano Museum in Venice, Italy. And then over here, we see another designed broken glass fragment. And this one is of a beaker with, if you can look closely, you see little scenes of chariots, little horses right here. So we see scenes of chariot racing. This is mold blown, so the artisan would have had a mold, and the glob of glass goes in, and it expands and fills the mold. And this was kind of a beaker-shaped one. This one's also at the Murano Museum in Venice, Italy. Broken glass is an important ingredient in glassmaking as well, so you'll read tomorrow a bit more about that. But Romans would take these broken fragments, melt them back down, and remake them into other things. And that reminds me a lot of like modern recycling today, where you can, depending what state you're in, you can return glass bottles for a small profit. Other states also, you pay a deposit whenever you do glass bottles, and then whenever you return it, you get your money back. So it's a method that the Romans would have employed as well in order to maintain a consistent, resource of glass. You're going to watch the video about this as well, about that broken glass thing, and it's going to be down here in the introduction. So you'll watch that video today. It's kind of on your honor to watch it, but yeah. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and read our beginning story. We don't have model sentences this chapter. Instead, we're going to be reading the story Taberna. We're just jumping right in. Taberna in Latin means shop, but it could symbolize a lot of different types of shops. It could be a shop where goods are sold, but it could also be a shop almost more like a fast food restaurant or a bar, which is what we see here in the picture on the left. So we see in this illustration some gentlemen having a discussion. He looks a little worried to me. And we see these basins back here. And this is where they would have input jugs of wine for serving. So the jug would sit nestled in here. So because they're round bottom, they don't have flat surfaces, so you can't just put it on a shelf. The roundness of the jugs was for easy transport, but it didn't always make for easy storage. It's kind of cool if you ever get a chance to see these a little bit more. I know if you go to Herculaneum, which is near Pompeii, if you ever get a chance to visit there, you see these kinds of setups preserved. These kind of bar tops, and you'd almost imagine, like, in some situations, obviously this one's a bit more drinking related, but some of them have to do with food and dining, and you can imagine like a station where you pick up kind of like a flatbread, and then the next station you scoop up some olive, you scoop up some dips, maybe some meats, some cheeses, and you kind of make yourself a little sandwich, kind of like the ancient version of a Subway, which is kind of cool. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom in to our story. And by the way, you can also read the story using the Story Explorer and have somebody else's voice reading it other than mine, or you can just return to this video. Now, really quick, we can't ignore this picture down here. Maybe during our group session today, let's discuss this picture in more detail. So, yeah, let's go ahead and read. You'll be translating the story using Google Docs later. Taberna. Postquam ad urbem advenimus, ego clementi diu tabernam quaerebam. Tandem barbillus, cui multa aedificia possedebat, mihi tabernam optimum obtulit. Haec taberna prope templum Dea Aesidis erat. In hac parte orbis via est, in qua omnes tabernarii vitrum vendunt. Taberna, quam barbilus mihi offerebat, optimum situm habebat. Barbilus tamen dubitabat. Sunt multi latrones inquit in illa parte orbis. Tabernarii latrones tement, quod pecuniam extorquent et vim inferunt. Latrones libertum meum interfecerunt, qui nuper illam tabernam tenebat. Eum in via invenimus mortuum. Libertus, qui senex abstinatus erat, latronibus pecuniam dare nolunt. Noluit. Latrones eum necaverunt tabernamque diripuerunt. Clemens vir fortis, non senex infermus est. Ego Barbili respondi, fortuna semper ei favet. Hanc tabernam Clementi emere volo. Tibi centum aureus offero. Placet ne? Mihi placet, responded Barbillus. Centum aurei sufficiunt. Barbillo egetur centum aureus tradidi. Okay, well, that's all for today. We will be translating that story onto a Google Doc and discussing it in our group session. Wale!